Thank you very much. My name is Kitamura, General Trading Company, Japan. Actually, we are now operating the industrial zone in Vietnam and Indonesia, and now India. And investor who knows markets always concerned about the cost, but not only the capex, but also OPEX. But not only OPEX. OPEX means the entrance cost and also exit cost. And also during the operation, the troubleshooting cost. All these costs should be transparency. This type of environment is very important for attract Japanese investor. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Also considering contributions for other guests that we have here, let's say maybe Mr. King, Sung Don King, could make his comments in terms of his perspectives on business opportunities and the whole thing about economic zones.
네, 서울에서 온 주최 측 여러분께
My name is Kim Sing-dong. First of all, I would like to thank the organizers of the Eastern Economic Forum. 25 years ago, I lived in Russia, in Vladivostok, in Khabarovsk, during 5 years. And not long ago, we were looking for a place which would be suitable for an industrial park. But now I remember that we probably didn't have enough time to achieve success.
And now I think that it is high time to go back to this issue. As an entrepreneur, as a representative of the entrepreneur society in Korea, I'd like to say what I myself feel in respect to the development of Vladivostok as an SEZ. The government of the Russian Federation is working on the free port projects and on TAD after having been after ascending to WTO. In other words, we consider investment issues to be of a prime importance as far as red tape and bureaucracy is concerned. These issues are dwindling in significance. Let's take a look first at the TADs, the main cities, the development of the region as a whole. And focus on preferences and tax benefits introduced within these zones and areas for basically the products manufactured in Russia and in the APR. I was thinking on how to build a partnership relationship in shipbuilding. Shipbuilding is one of the priority areas of development for us and of main interest for us. After the difficult 90s, Russia has concentrated on maintaining the vessels instead of concentrating on shipbuilding and building of new vessels. In order to change the vector of development in 2013, the government of the Russian Federation has decided to extend more loans to the sector.
The government of Russia is still working on the resuscitation of this industry, of the manufacturing. From the territorial point of view, Korea is very close to this sector, and in Korea there are a lot of companies that are advanced in this sector. If we set up a joint cluster, we can become Russia's strategic partner in this area. And the second option is to start manufacturing food and provide services. Just recently, there was the issue of personnel raised. We need to find a way to replace existing workers with cheaper ones and attract highly skilled workers who have advanced technologies. As for the free port of Vladivostok, of course, we now have some issues due to the outburst of MERS in Korea, but we provide healthcare services of high quality, and tourism is also developing in Korea. We have a lot of advanced medical equipment which we are going to produce in Vladivostok in the future. Lastly, I would like to say that advanced development territories and free ports are important to achieve success. There are certain systemic mistakes, that is, issues arising from certain decisions. And we need to think about how to be successful. If we look at a government regulation, take one of them. Before that, it was necessary to have 23 days to register a legal entity, and now it's enough to have just 3 days. It takes just 3 days to register a legal entity. For this system to be effective, those who do this, the performers, need to change themselves to adapt to the new situation and to deal with infrastructure in the region. They need to work on that. Currently, financial programs are being created to support this issue, and we need to monitor on a real-time basis how those programs are executed. That will help develop the free port and the special economic zone. Thank you.
Our last guest for this conversation will make comments based on the Japanese situation too, but with coming from someone that is really acquainted to the Russian environment. So Yao-san, if you could share your thoughts, and also in terms of lessons learned and what do they have to say to the special economic initiative here.
Thank you very much, Albert. Я хотел бы сказать несколько слов.
I would like to say a few words regarding the Japanese experience of someone who constantly walks in Moscow. I have been observing this process from the very outset, the process of a global reform of economic development in Russia. And as an expert, I can tell you with great certainty that in the building sector, everything is done in the proper way. The team is very efficient, very energetic. I can tell that for sure from the international perspective. But as our colleagues said today, that's just the beginning of participating in international competition. Now, Russia and the Far East are only starting to engage in international competition. So I would like to emphasize two aspects regarding how Russia can win this competition. There are 2 points. First, from the international investors' perspective, and I will tell you very, very frankly, I already mentioned this at one of the previous meetings. So what is interesting from the point of view of foreign investors in Russia? Natural resources and transit corridors, and that's it. So from the point of view of a foreign investor, Russia will be very convenient and for them if Russia is a convenient and effective transport corridor in order to import natural resources from Russia. So this is why they say that a transport corridor is important, that this is infrastructure for developing the exports of natural resources, oil and gas. And this is right. But from my point of view, that this is not 100% in line with the national interests of Russia. So what do we need to do? The strategic course that you have chosen is a correct one. But we need to prepare a strategic platform to create added value within the territory of Russia. This is the important thing. And indeed, we have some sectors like that. And here I would like to point out 2 things. First, the presence of natural resources in the Far East, such as oil and so on, and the limits for distribution of those natural resources. The establishment of an investment climate should be compliant with that aspect in order to attract foreign investment. So I would like you to learn very attentively from the experience of America, Alaska, how they managed to attract Japanese investments in the fishery industry, for example. Secondly, establishing infrastructure. Everyone says that the Far East is a small market, but this is not correct. If we talk about establishing infrastructure for the Far East of Russia, this is going to be a huge market. There might be enormous demand here. And I think that it's better to open the door for foreign investors. That would mean that in order to create infrastructure, we can launch the processes of urban development. And for that, we can invite foreign companies and develop infrastructure jointly. And after that, we can attract resident investors in the territory of these zones. Thank you very much.